Hey there, pen fans. Brian Goulet here from gouletpens.com, and I have another ink showdown for you today. This one is one of my favorite colors, turquoise. Now, what exactly is turquoise, right? Like, this is something I've been debating because there's a lot of debate about teal versus turquoise. So part of that is going to be, we're going to figure out what that means in the fountain pen ink world. What are ink makers calling turquoise? And do these colors actually match turquoise? So, I don't have the answer. I'll be honest with you. Most of what I think of turquoise has to do with what I've experienced in the fountain pen ink world, because I've been at this for 16 years. So that's like when I go look at paint colors and when I look at car colors and stuff, I'm like naming ink colors as my reference for like what colors things are in the real world. So, my brain's a little broken in that way. But so I always associate turquoises as pretty darn blue. But I don't know. When I Google what is turquoise and all that, it's got a lot more green in it than I'm typically associating. So I'm very curious to see, even just for my own entertainment, but y'all can come along. I have 10 different inks here, all fountain pen inks. Most of them have turquoise in the name. Now, I can't really rank them necessarily. I might do some superlatives. I'll try to put them in some kind of a color order. But the point is really for me to discover what even is turquoise, right? So I'll have to follow this up with a teal video. So please come at me in the comments. Let me know, what is turquoise? What is teal? How does one distinguish any of these things? But we'll at least see how fountain pen ink makers do it. So the tools of the trade that I will have for today, I've cut up some sheets of Tomoe River A5, some A5 sheets. I've cut them down smaller. And it's 52 gram white paper. I have Kakamori dip nib and a rotary cleaner glass pen, mostly just because they're easy to clean and do kind of back to back like this. I don't have time to clean out 10 different fountain pens. So that's what we're going to be going with. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's start off with the first one. Noodler's Turquoise of the Mesas. All right. So this is a relatively popular ink that I think is going to do pretty well in typical Noodler's fashion. You have a very, very full bottle. Oh my goodness. Oh, I got a little ink that came out actually. How do you like that? It's going to get my mat all inky. Oh no. So there you go. New ink user beware. Noodler's gives you a lot of ink for your money here. I'm actually going to use a little bit of water and try and dab this up. It's like my nice background. Okay. I think we might be okay. All right. So we got the ink there now. Let's go ahead and give it a dip with our glass pen. Ooh, it's very wet. Okay. Noodler's Turquoise of the Mesas. Now, I believe this one's a pretty decent shader. We'll see once this dries up a little bit more. That is one thing that I do like about a lot of turquoises, is you get some really good shading properties that tend to come with these types of inks. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing. Kakamori dip, so we'll just kind of go back and forth with this. Oh yeah, I can tell it's going to shade nicely. Dip it back and forth a little bit. I'm not going for a specific pattern here necessarily. I'm just trying to put a ton of ink down, let it do its thing, see what kind of shading, see what kind of saturation I get, to see what the color is. But see, right off the bat, this is almost like a Goulet blue. I mean, I love it, of course. But is this turquoise? You know what I mean? Is it turquoise? My brain says yes, because this is what I've looked at for years as being an example of turquoise. But there's no green in it at all. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how this is going to stack up with the other ones. So this is number one. We'll set it aside and go on to number two. Diamine Marine. Marine, this is admittedly one of my favorite inks of all time. And it has been for a very long time. Basically since the first time I ever used this ink. I fell in love with it. Nothing has dethroned it in this color family. Emerald of Chivor is probably the thing that's maybe come close, but that's really more of a teal. You'll notice I'm not using that one today. That's because it's more of a teal than a turquoise. Okay, so here we go. Diamine. See, now this has a lot more green to it. Is it more teal? Should marine be considered a teal? You tell me. I would consider it a turquoise that like is kind of on the edge of teal, right? Let's give it a little dip here. I love it. It's a great shader. I already know that. This is my personal 80 ml bottle, of which I've used almost all of it. So admittedly, this bottle is a few years old. By a few, I mean quite a few. So, you know, is this going to be the most accurate representation? Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty close because Diamine hasn't changed their formula. And I've kept this bottle in good condition. I'll double check it on our website just to make sure that my personal bottle has remained true to its color. But I feel pretty good about it because even just by my eye, I can tell it's looking pretty good. Okay. Very different color, right? Now, technically, this one's not called a turquoise. So, again, I don't know how I'm going to arrange these things in final fashion, but Diamine Marine, definitely more on the green side. See, a little turquoise of the Mesas now. It's got a little bit of a kind of a red halo that's coming out there a bit. Now, I put a lot of ink down, and it's Tomoe River paper, so you're going to see things on this that you won't see anywhere else. But there you go. That's first two. Let's go on to the next one. LAMY Turquoise. Just classic LAMY. This is their 50 ml bottle. I actually had to label it turquoise because the bottle looks identical to the special edition LAMY Pacific that they did a few years ago. And I had to label the bottles because I was like, I can't tell the difference between them with my eye. The ink color was also very close, though slightly different. But this is straight up LAMY Turquoise. This is their regular edition that they have with their little, you get a little nib wiping paper here. LAMY's the only one that does that. All right, LAMY, they like to have it in all caps. Then turquoise. I always have to double check myself when I'm spelling turquoise because I'm like, there's a lot of letters in there. There's a lot of vowels happening. Turquoise. Okay. I do kind of spell it out. It's somewhat phonetic. All right, and then we'll do the dip. Oh yeah, we got a heavy blue one here. Again, this is what has made me really think that turquoises are super, super blue over the years, is inks like this. LAMY Turquoise has been a favorite of mine. In fact, I used up my whole bottle. This is a brand new one that I've cracked open, and I will be keeping this personally because I like to reference it all the time. Before LAMY came out with their crystal ink line, this was my favorite LAMY ink color. And I still do really like it. So there we go. LAMY Turquoise. Boy, Diamine Marine that color just hits me in a good way. All right, turquoise. So this is, again, going to be, maybe I'll go from like blues to greens or greens to blues. Let's do that. We'll go greens to blues. So this is a little, I don't know. It's definitely darker. I'll leave that there. But not wildly different from turquoise in the Mesas, but we'll let them dry and see what properties come out. Next one up, Organic Studio Alanine. Now this one, interestingly enough, I don't believe it's a shimmer ink, but there's just a lot of, there's just a lot in this ink. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little shake, gentle shake, just to make sure that everything's in suspension, right? This is not a shimmer ink out, right? Am I crazy? Am I just not familiar with this? It is an aqua fountain pen ink with silver shimmer. So yes, there is shimmer in here that we're looking at, but that'll be good. It'll give us a nice little variety, right? There's not a lot of turquoise inks that have shimmer in them. This is one of them though. I say that, but once I count them all up, it's probably actually more. Again, there's a lot of teals. There's a lot of teals with shimmer. Boy, there's a lot of shimmer in here. It's taking me a minute to get it all shaken up. But that's all right. We want to get the most accurate representation of what this ink is. Okay, there we go. Got it all in suspension. Crack it open. Okay. I can already tell just from looking at the lid and what's in the kind of the top of the bottle, the lip of the bottle. This is going to be a very blue one. All right, so organics. Studio. Alanine. That looks very dark. Very dark. I really can't even tell what color that is. It almost looks black. But I have a feeling it's going to change a whole lot once it dries, especially with the shimmer in there. And it's Tomoe River, so Tomoe River tends to bring out more of those kind of properties. It is very dark. Okay, I see a lot of blue in here. Boy, it's a nice color. Nice color. Very dark, very saturated. Okay. That'll do it for that one. Boy, I don't know where to put this one. Oh man, what a mess. Whatever. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what kind of order I end up putting these in. It may just be completely who knows what. But Alanine, nice color. I feel like I can't even see it yet until it dries. So I'm just gonna set it up here and then we'll go to the next one. Pelikan 4001 Turquoise. There we go. Pelikan 4001. This is just their non-Edelstein, just their run-of-the-mill, regularly offered ink. Kind of a distinctive bottle that Pelikan's got there. Got a little bird on top. Put a bird on it. Any of you Portlandia fans there will get that. Now this is typically a pretty dry ink. I don't know if I'm going to really be able to tell that in a glass pen here. Pelikan. Should I put 4001? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if that's officially part of the name, but boy, turquoise is one of those words that just looks weirder every time you write it. Okay. Oh, I can see some crazy stuff coming out with Alanine now. That ink is setting itself apart. Boy, maybe I made a mistake by including that with turquoises. That thing is just like something else. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. This color is looking pretty similar to like the color range of the LAMY turquoise. Come on, get on there. Okay. All right. Nice. It's a nice color. I'm not like as wild about the Pelikan 4001s, but I will use those inks from time to time if I have a pen that feels really wet and I feel like it needs to be like tamed a little bit because these tend to be on the drier side. So yeah, there you go. I don't know if I can really tell that with the glass pen or the Kakamori. The Kakamori felt maybe a little drier. And even just like the glass pen, again, it's not going to perform exactly as it would in a fountain pen, but just like how thin those lines are and how light they are compared to like the Noodlers or even the LAMY. You know, so that's maybe an indication as to how that might flow in the pen. Okay, so this one is going to be really similar to LAMY Turquoise, so I don't know what to do with you, Alanine. You're just going to be in your own world, I think. Yeah, so there you go. Kind of in the same vein here, all these. Let's see how the others stack up. We're halfway through. Diamine Turquoise. All right, now admittedly, this is kind of a Diamine heavy list. I even kind of narrowed it down because they have a bunch. There's just a lot of good turquoises out there, I'll say. But again, I was trying to go with things that are like have turquoise in the name, generally speaking, except for Alanine, which I'm gonna just continue to question my own judgment on picking that one. I think it looked lighter in our photo than it does here. It's really not a turquoise, but you can't win them all. Okay, so Diamine. I don't know if that's the right number of humps. M, 0, 1, 2, 3, I, N, E. Oh, I missed a hump. There we go. There's Diamine always throws me. Turquoise. Okay. Haven't misspelled turquoise yet. Haven't yet. I mean, haven't misspelled turquoise yet, is what I meant to say. I can't say it, but all right. This is a nice looking color. Boy, this is looking kind of similar to a bunch of these other ones. You see why, you know, everybody's thinking that turquoise is a very light blue. I wonder if that's different in different parts of the world. Like if you know, turquoise is considered one thing, you know, in like North America, for example, versus other parts. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Are these looking turquoise to you is the question. And if not, what is looking turquoise? To me, I think kind of the based on the Google searches and stuff that I've done of what, I don't know, probably more discerning people than me would call turquoise. To me, Diamine Marine falls the most into a true turquoise than any of these do. But I don't know. There's a lot of, aquamarine and various, gemstones and stuff that can be kind of a blue or kind of a green. I feel like this could be within the spectrum of any of those. Okay, so that's it. Diamine Turquoise. Very similar to all these other ones. So I'll just kind of stick it right here, and we'll do the next one. Private Reserve Infinity Turquoise. All right, so I'm finding I end up having at least one Private Reserve Infinity in most of these lists. I think part of it is just they have a bunch of colors. But again, this one was called turquoise, so that's why I'm going with it. But this is one that's like an extended cap off. So if you want a pretty wet writing turquoise, if you want one that's going to stay ready to go on the pen for a long time, this would be the one. It's looking pretty blue. Pretty nice. Let's see. Private Reserve. Infinity. Turquoise. Almost messed that up. I had to think about it. Oh man, you'd think I'd be like a pro at it now, but I feel like it's getting harder for me to spell that word correctly as we go on. All right, and let's give it the dip. Nice color. Boy, I'm realizing how many of these colors look pretty darn similar. I guess this is truly what turquoise is, because that's what everybody's calling it. All right, it seems like a slightly lighter. It's like not maybe as saturated, which, I would have thought maybe it would be more saturated given the Infinity name. I don't know if that matters. But I found a bunch of the other Private Reserve Infinities are really, really saturated in color. This one, not so much. Okay, so I'll cap that off and kind of fit this one in here. This is going to end up just kind of falling in line with the others, but it's got some good shading. The Pelikan 4001 actually is looking pretty decent. It's got a little bit of that red kind of halo on the outside too, which that is something you tend to see, more often in this range of color, blue color, is when you really put a lot of ink down, you can often see a little bit of red. Definitely get that with the Noodlers. The Alanine for sure. That's more of a teal though. I really probably should have included that in the teal list. Forgive me. I don't really see any red in the Marine. I do see it in the Pelikan. Diamine Turquoise, not so much, and the PR is not been down long enough to see. So we got 3 more inks to go. Let's keep going. Diamine Havasu Turquoise. Okay, so we're going to see what difference the word Havasu makes in terms of the coloration of this. Yes, this is the 3rd Diamine on the list. I promise it's the last one, but they make a bunch of good ones. Just can't help it. I knew I had to include Marine on the list. That was a non-negotiable. That was like the first thing I put on here. All right, Diamine Havasu Turquoise. Now, what exactly does Havasu mean? I'm not 100% certain, but I believe it is speaking to the Havasu Falls in Arizona, which is a nice little waterfall that goes into a big pool. And I think the color is meant to sort of be like the water that's in the Havasu Falls, if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that. I even searched the internet and tried to find if that's the case and was not able to find anything too conclusive. So I will also include something inconclusive that can now be on the internet. All right. Wow. Such a unique color. Now, I'm sure there's different like flow properties and stuff like that you get with these. But boy, are so many of them looking really similar to each other. Such an exciting video. Okay. We got 2 more to go. One for sure. The next one is going to be certainly different. Jacques Herbin 1670 Turquoise du Perse. All right, so this is another shimmer ink. This has got some gold shimmer, much like their whole 1670 line. Nice bottle with the wax, and it's very, very classy looking. Now you're paying premium for this. It's premium ink maker, premium packaging. It is, you know, for sure the nicest looking bottle of any of the inks that I'm swabbing up here today. So I'll just give it a little shaky shake, get all that shimmer in action. There we go. Good to go. Okay. Kind of at the bottom of the screen here. Sorry about that. Now let's check this out. It's going to have the longest name, that's for sure. Okay. Jacques. Herbin. 1670. Turquoise. Ooh. Almost messed that one up. De Perse. Okay. Filled up half the swab with just the name. That's okay. This is looking a little greener. I'm kind of liking that, honestly. I didn't think that that would be the standout here, but apparently in the fountain pen ink world, turquoise means cyan, because that's what all these are looking, except for Alanine, which is my fault. Okay, now I expect to see some interesting things with the shimmer here. And I wonder if that's, you know, it's like, as I'm putting it down, before the shimmer really dries, that's when I feel like I can see the most of the ink color without the shimmer, because, you know, once it dries, then it's going to be right on the surface and kind of dominate what you're seeing. But even still, it's definitely leaning on the green side. Not quite as much as Marine, but definitely more than any of these other ones. So I'm going to end up putting that one right over there. So we'll slide these down. And then we're going to put Turquoise de Perse right up here. I like it. I like that color. I'm going to go ahead and swab the next one, and then we'll see what happens with the shimmer on that one once it dries. And then we'll be done. Sheaffer Turquoise. Now this is like revisiting an old friend, because we carried Sheaffer years ago, and they recently got sold, purchased, whatever you want to call it. So there's new ownership now, and we've got it again. So Sheaffer Turquoise, yeah. I remember this being a good color previously when we carried it eons ago. So I'm going to see if it still holds up to my memory, because this is the first I've really messed around with it. All right, so ooh, very wet. Boom. I didn't misspell turquoise once this whole time. I'm so proud of myself. It's not the most legible on some of these, but I did spell it right. I'm like double checking that now to make sure. Turquoise, yeah, I'm pretty sure I spelled it right on every single one. Yay! Okay, swab it up. Boy, it's another cyan. Honestly, though, I love this color range. Like, I'm not complaining. I just thought that turquoise was supposed to be more green than this. I'm happy that it's not, though, because the more blue, the better. At least that's what I think, because I'm kind of obsessed with blue, if you hadn't noticed. Okay. I also wore this shirt specifically for this video, you know. I don't have a lot of turquoise shirts, but this one I did wear. Okay. I think we can just kind of tack it right on the end here. So I'll give those a minute to finish drying, and then we'll do our final assessment and do some superlatives as well. All right, here we go. I made my list of superlatives after having seen all these, letting them dry for the most part. Turquoise de Perse has got a little spot there. My award for most actually turquoise is Marine, because I think that's the closest to what truly turquoise is by the world standards. The award for probably actually teal goes to Alanine. Alanine? I said Alanine early in the video. Why did I just say Alanine right now? I don't know. That's weird. Which one is it? Best shading. Now this one's tough because a lot of these are really good shaders. In the actual swab itself, if you can see like the lines back and forth a lot, if you can see some very clear breaks here from like darker to lighter, those are strong indicators of shading. But looking at the actual writing and looking at the swab, I give it to Turquoise of the Mesas. Now it's darker, so maybe there's a little more contrast there. It went on really heavy, so I think with a slightly thinner pen, the shading would actually show up more. But it's pretty drastic here between, like on the edges between the light and the dark. And then in here, you can see some very distinct, changes in saturation there in the writing. But a lot of these are strong shaders. So I think that could work for any of them. And then the one for best presentation or most bougie would be the Turquoise de Perse. Partly because of the bottle and partly because, it's a nice color. It's not over the top, but it's got a little shimmer in there. It's just like a little sparkle. So I think that's the most bougie. Anyway, that's it for my turquoises. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know which one's your favorite, and let me know if I left any out. I feel like I'm going to need to do a teal version of this pretty soon now to redeem myself a little bit from my Alanine, debacle. That's all right. I had fun making this. Hopefully y'all had fun watching it. You can check out these inks and a whole bunch of others over at gouletpens.com. That's where I am currently and would love to, send you some of these inks, So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and right on.